guys, how's it going? So I mean, right now we're just cruising in 2018 Mustang GT Performance Package 1. I've had this car since about February, so you know, I've put almost 22,000 kilometers on it in that time. Had a lot of fun with it, taking it to the track a couple times, hooked up with the guys from Throttle House. Did a really cool video with them. You'll have to check it out, Throttle House on YouTube. Video's got about 300,000 views right now. Track test, a little bit of thoughts on that from the guys, you know, go check that out. But right now we're just cruising, trying to beat some rush hour traffic in Toronto here. We're about to merge onto the 407 shortly, and you know, I'll open things up so you boys can hear what this active exhaust sounds like from inside the car. There's been a lot of reviews out there by now on the 2018, but you know, since I've owned the vehicle for almost a good 6 months now and put so many kilometers on it, I thought I'd, you know, make a video and give you a little bit of an idea on my thoughts on the vehicle after having it for this long, and you know, taking it to the track like I mentioned, and you know, across North America. I drove it from Toronto all the way down to South Carolina and then to Orlando, and then spent some days down there, and then drove back from Orlando back to Toronto. Stopped off at Tail of the Dragon on the way. I'll upload some video of that. It was an awesome experience, and I'd highly recommend, you know, anybody that's got a vehicle like this, you know, make sure you do get out to Tail of the Dragon. It's a lot of fun. But you know, overall, I mean, my experience with the 18 GT has been nothing but good. You know, I know there's some issues with engine knock or engine tick out there. Haven't had any of that, luckily, knock on wood. But yeah, I mean, my experience has been good. We're just, again, merging onto the highway here. Got the exhaust in the track mode, and I'll open it up in a second. I'll kind of keep quiet here. Sound good. You know, I'd have to say probably one of my favorite parts about this vehicle is the active exhaust. I mean, you know, to be honest, I don't keep it in anything but track mode most of the time. Why would you if you've got a vehicle like this? The sound is just amazing. I mean, stock from the factory, it's got to be one of the best sounding vehicles out there right now. You know, and that says a lot. This 5-liter really does make a beautiful sound, and the active exhaust really allows you to open things up and enjoy it. I mean, you find yourself just wanting to keep it in the power band, wanting to hear that motor and that exhaust just open up. Oh, it just sounds so good. You know, I haven't put an X-pipe on it. I probably will over the winter. So next spring, you know, I'll kind of change things up. I'll have a little bit of a new sound, a little bit raspier, but I mean, I've been totally content with the way the sound came from the stock, from the factory. I mean, from the 17 to 15 years, you know, I know people, that was one of their main complaints with the car. I don't think anybody's complaining about the active exhaust on the 18s. I mean, it's phenomenal. Some things that I have done to the vehicle, you know, I've lowered it. It currently has the Ford Performance GT 350 lowering springs on it. You know, what I found is those springs, they're designed to work with the Magneride, which this vehicle has. And what I found is that really, not only did it really, you know, tighten up the look of the vehicle and that wheel gap, but it really tightened up the handling. I mean, even in normal mode, you know, you've got a little bit stiffer ride, nothing that you can't deal with on a day-to-day basis. By no means does it ruin the daily drive ability of the vehicle, but it just tightens it up a little bit. And you know, I think from stock it was fine, but this just gives it that little bit of a sportier feel. You know, right now I'm cruising down the highway here. I'm in Sport Plus mode, and you know, no problems on the highway. It's not it's nice to cruise it in Sport Plus. You know, the transmission is going to be a little bit more aggressive. The throttle response is a little bit more aggressive. And again, the ride and handling, I mean, isn't too harsh. I mean, it's definitely livable. Track mode is probably, you know, more than you want on the street. Could you live with it? Yeah, of course you could. Would you want to every day? No, probably not. But I mean, that's why you've got normal mode and you've got Sport Plus mode, right? I mean, you know, there isn't really a need to live with track on the street, especially with the Ford Performance M5300W GT350 lowering springs. I mean, your ride in Sport Plus is probably what it is stock in track mode. So again, there's no reason to really be in track mode on the street. You know, if you want to, by all means, hey, go ahead. But you know, the ride with this is perfectly fine in Sport Plus, and even in normal mode. I mean, there's not much to be left wanting. The Magneride's phenomenal. I mean, if you're gonna buy an 18 or 19 GT, I can't say enough about the Magneride. I mean, I think it's a must-have. It was for me, and I haven't regretted it. It's one of the reasons, you know, I got this vehicle, is because, you know, finally I thought the Mustang had gotten to a point where, okay, it was offering active exhaust, it was offering Magneride. It was at a point technologically for me where I was going to be happy with, you know, with driving this vehicle and not going to a GT350. You know, another thing that I did go with within this vehicle is the 10-speed transmission. And, you know, I've had manuals in the past. I'm perfectly content with this transmission. I mean, the way that it is able to keep the car in the power band, on the street, on the track, is, you know, second to none. I mean, obviously you've got other great transmissions out there from Porsche, and, you know, but I mean, those vehicles are twice the amount of money that these are. So I mean, the 10-speed in this, co-developed with GM, available in the Raptor, available in the ZL1, is one hell of a transmission. And, you know, I think even a manual lover is gonna have fun with it. I mean, you know, you can be cruising along at any speed, drop the hammer, and, you know, next thing you know, you're just like that. You heard that. I mean, you're at insane speeds. The throttle response is phenomenal. The gear changes, you're not hunting for gears in it. In normal mode, you don't even really feel the shifts. You know, like I said, I drove this thing from Toronto all the way down to Orlando, and, you know, not only was I comfortable with these aftermarket Ford Performance springs, but the transmission in whatever mode I had it in was just a pleasure. You know, cruising at highway speeds, or, you know, opening it up when I took it to tail the dragon. I mean, you know, I threw it in Sport Plus mode, let the transmission do some of the work. You know, at the same time though, I did throw it into manual mode, and I had a lot of fun that way too. Shifts were crisp, they were fast, they were accurate, and I wasn't, you know, never once did I wish that I had the manual. And I think that's something that would really be said about these 10-speed transmissions and the programming that Ford's been able to do with them. And, you know, I think that's an impressive thing, especially this day and age. You know, when people in sports cars are, you know, continually shifting over and dropping manuals, and people are worried about that, and are you going to lose driver engagement? You know, do you? Yes, I mean, you do. You don't have that third pedal, so there is some engagement that's gone, but it's not enough that you're wishing that it was there again. I mean, you know, to be honest, I mean, when you're traveling at the speeds that these cars can these days, it's nice to just be able to flick it and know that you're going to be in the next gear, or the gear that you want, or drop the hammer and know that the transmission is going to drop, you know, from 8th gear down to 3rd gear in a fraction of a second, and you're going to be, you know, right in that sweet spot of that power band. So, you know, I think the drivability of these transmissions is phenomenal. And, you know, like I said, I've taken it to the track, I've had it in track mode, and it's honestly, it's something very impressive to behold. I mean, I think if you've got one of these vehicles, you've got to track it, you know, at least a couple times, whether it's a road course or a drag strip. They've got a mode here for everything. I mean, drag mode. In drag mode, these cars will literally shift so hard that you will chirp the tires at 170 kilometers an hour on the strip. And that's, you know, that is crazy, but also a lot of fun. But I mean, it's just a testament to how hard these transmissions will shift, and you know, the programming that goes into them to make them, you know, be able to knock off and bang off a shift that immediate and that quick, that you really, I mean, your RPMs aren't dropping below 6,000 RPMs. And at full throttle on a strip, you just can't get that performance out of a manual. I mean, it's well documented, the difference in performance between, you know, the GTs with the manual and the GTs with the 10-speed, and, you know, the straight line performance off them. And, you know, I mean, it's real. I mean, you know, you can feel it, and it's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun. So what else have I done to this vehicle? You know, nothing under the hood yet. I'm looking to do that over the winter. You know, I might go with the JLT cold air intake and a tune, along with the X-pipe. You know, the numbers that are out there right now for that setup are pretty impressive. You're looking at probably anywhere between 460 to 470 at the wheels. I know Stang Mode Official, shout out buddy, I know you're rocking around 473 to the wheels with a JLT cold air, an X-pipe and a tune, but you're running E85, so, you know, down here or up here in Canada, we don't have access to the E85 as readily as you do. So, you know, I don't know if I'll be putting down 473 to the wheels, but from what I've talked to the shops around here, we should be looking at around 460, and that's really impressive. That's 30 wheel horsepower gain, and that's real numbers. I mean, you're gonna feel that. So that's what I'm looking to do over the winter. You know, some of the other mods that are currently on the car, you know, I've got the SVE S350, you know, rims on there. Lost about 10 pounds of unsprung weight per wheel on that. So, you know, again, that's real performance that you're gonna feel. That's gonna make a difference on the track, and it's gonna make a difference in the handling of the car, and that's something that, you know, I can feel. Those stock wheels they're like lead weights, and it was really, really nice to switch that up and get these SVE wheels on here that are a lot lighter. They're also a lot wider too. I'm rocking now, you know, 11-inch wide in the back, 10-inch wide in the front, 305 Michelin Pilot Super Sports in the back, and I'm actually rocking 275 Pilot Sport 4S's up front. When I was ordering the tires, the 305s in the Pilot Super Sport weren't available for the rears, but, you know, I haven't noticed any problems with the mismatch on there with the Super Sports in the back and the 4S's in the front. The car's a dream to drive. I don't get a lot of tram lining with this setup. I know that, you know, that's something some people are worried about when you go with a wider wheel and tire package, but, you know, it's not something I've noticed has been a huge problem for me, and that's, you know, I'm quite happy with that. You know, overall, I think that this is a really solid package. I think that, you know, for what most people are going to do, this is a hell of a lot of car. You know, 460 horsepower, 420 foot-pounds of torque. You know, you throw an extra wide set of wheels and tires on there, and, you know, your levels of grip are going to go way up, and really take the Mustang GT to a next level. I mean, especially with the performance package, the Magneride, you know, and the GT 350 lowering springs. I mean, I think I've really created, you know, what I consider to be a performance package 2 with a 10-speed transmission, and I've been super happy with it. You know, again, go check out the Throttle House video of what this car did on the track at the hands of a professional driver. Same track, same driver. This car ran a 121.1, and a GT 350 ran a 120.4 or 0.5, I think it was. So, you know, that's a half a second, give or take, and really, I mean, with a couple more laps, I think that this car, and the driver agreed with me, could have easily gotten down into the 120s. And that's something, I think that's really impressive. I mean, you know, I think the package that I've put together here with the springs, the tires, the wheels, really brings this car up a whole nother level, to the point where, you know, you can hold your own with the GT350 on the track, you know, in the right conditions with the right driver behind the wheel. And that's, you know, something to be said about this this 5-liter and this package that Ford's put together. You know, it's impressive. I'm going to be taking this to the track in the next couple days, and I'll be adding some video to this, and I'll edit it together, and we'll give you a little impression of you know, my behind the wheel, what I think of it behind the wheel on the track. You know, like I said, I've already lapped it, but I didn't get a whole ton of video of my own, so we're gonna go back, we're gonna get some more video, and you know, we're gonna check it out and see what we can do at the track, you know, with a lap timer, put some laps down. I doubt we'll be as fast as the professional driver was, but we'll see where we can get. But in terms of you know, driving it every day on the street, it's an absolute dream. You know, the power's there wherever you want it. The grip's there wherever you want it, and you know, it's a really nice nice ride. It's a lot of fun, and again, the sound with the active exhaust is just